For each commencement ceremony, one graduate is chosen to speak on behalf of the graduating class. To be selected for this honor, students must not only demonstrate academic success, but they must also exemplify the values of our institution. The graduate chosen for this ceremony is Mr. Matthew McElwee, who is receiving his Bachelor of Science in Business Administration with a dual specialization in entrepreneurship and management. Matthew has been an outstanding student at SIUE. In his freshman year, he served as an officer and founding member for SIUE's chapter of Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization, also known as CEO. The goal of CEO is to support entrepreneurial students as they move along the path toward business creation. This was a perfect activity for Matthew, considering that as a freshman, he already owned and operated a small grant writing business. While part of CEO, Matthew co-created SIUE's first ever business plan competition for our students. The competition, now known as the Other 40, was created to promote entrepreneurship and innovation among the students at SIUE. The Other 40 awards consulting services, and more than $10,000 to their winners. Matthew still is involved with CEO as the founding advisor. He also owns and operates 2 small businesses, works at Regions Bank, and is already accepted into several law schools. In addition, he will graduate today with honors. Mr. McElwee, it is my pleasure to welcome you as the student speaker representing your graduating class.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much, Provost Boyle, for that very generous introduction. A few points of housekeeping before we start. At this point, I am completely open to spontaneous cheering and applauses. A couple of plants already. They've got my back up here. At the same time, I want to make sure everybody out here is loosened up. We're graduating today. This is an exciting day. We should all be very happy. Thank you. I got one over there, too. But before I do begin my actual remarks, because I know you're all very anxiously awaiting them, I would like to have my fellow graduates join me in thanking the faculty and staff and so many family members that came out today to congratulate us. So thank you very much. I was honored to be selected today for 2 reasons. The simple reason is that I love SIUE and the many introductions, experiences, and opportunities that it's provided for me. At the same time, there's also a very important point that I would like to make to you, the graduates. Now, with that being said, I do promise to fulfill my commencement speaker obligations and include a healthy dose of graduation cliches, several references to the geese on campus, and even a couple of those topical jokes that maybe 15% of you will get, but most will very generously chuckle at for my sake. So I appreciate that in advance as well. Now, as I look around today, I'm struck by the notion that everyone in front of me has a story, just like me. Each and every one of us has something unique that drove us to seek higher education, that has driven us to be successful and continues to drive us to become someone better, wiser, and more prepared for the challenges we're about to face. It's that story that primed us to receive the education, to develop the maturity, and to engage in the experiences that we've garnered during our tenures here at SIUE. I see before me students trying to reach new heights, sometimes against the expectations of those around them. Mothers and fathers out here in the audience and in the graduation class that are trying to set a better example for their children. Most importantly, though, we have a united group of students without any regard to race, gender, or economic background who have come together in class and out to prepare themselves for what is to come. It is my hope that by speaking to you today, I can encourage each and every one of you to seize the opportunities that come your way, no matter the field that you're in, and create as much good as possible. Now, my own story coming to SIUE was an interestingly complicated one, to say the least. I wasn't always the handsome, put-together young man you see up here. As hard as it may be to believe, there was a time when I was awkward, confused, and lacked my own real sense of individual direction. So for me, SIUE served as an oasis, a new beginning. I arrived here free to make new friends, new goals, and most importantly, new impressions. In effect, it was a complete reinvention, a sloughing off of old ties and regrets and responsibilities that just weren't necessary anymore. I'm certain, looking around the room, that it was the same for many of you. As students here, we were given the opportunity to have our own new beginning whenever we pleased. This was a place where we were free to take our time, deciding who we are and what we stand for. If you'll forgive me the first of several nearly cliche phrases, we each had the opportunity to decide where we wanted our stories to go, fork in the road of our very own Robert Frost poem. Now, just as we received this opportunity before, we are now faced with it again as we prepare for life after college. The present social and economic situation's no picnic, that much is definitely sure. Unemployment's up, interest rates are low, and personal uncertainty is off the charts. It's a difficult time to be graduating, finding a job, starting a family, and getting on with the business of getting on. The trials to come that we're about to face are far more difficult than tackling finals or dodging those flocks of angry geese, or even completing the trek that was the trip from SIUE's parking lots to its classrooms. But I don't mention this to warn or scare anyone, but rather to challenge each and every one of you. Because I'm looking before me at the future educators of our children, the future caretakers of our sick or injured, and the future business leaders tasked with reorienting this economy. All of a sudden, tackling the future doesn't seem quite so intimidating when I know I'm working alongside so many competent individuals. We are being given the chance right now to choose that next fork in our road, the next chapter in our stories. Moving forward, there are going to be many decisions to make, movements to plan, opportunities to consider, and most importantly, good to accomplish. Our experiences here at SIUE gave us the means to handle all of this, and I'm certain I'm equipped to handle what's next for me. Now, what's next? That is the thought to think about. For me, SIUE was at my back through all of the futures that I contemplated for myself, and there were quite a few. During my freshman year, I eternally wanted to spread the word of entrepreneurship. So SIUE willingly stepped in to assist by giving me the opportunity, the framework, and the fellow students to launch an entrepreneurship-based student organization. And as Provost Boyle mentioned, we've had the pleasure to award tens of thousands of dollars each year to young student startups. SIUE even threw in some of the most enthusiastic and caring faculty that I've ever had the pleasure to work with, who supported both my goals and the goals of my organization. By my sophomore year, I wanted to take my little grant writing business straight to the top of the Fortune 500, preferably edging out Google as the most popular workplace. I like to think I kept it real. SIUE chipped in to assist me in this goal by providing me the means to network and meet my very first client, who in turn introduced me to the intertwining web of clients I've had the pleasure to serve over the last 3 years. When I finally found my true calling, to study law and put my love of business to real use in a corporate or entrepreneurial setting, SIUE again bent over backwards to help me out. When I informed my faculty advisors of my new goal, I found myself inundated with offers of support and words of assistance. 4 positively glowing letters of recommendation, and roughly 26 days, 4 hours, and 20 minutes of waiting for my LSAT score later, my applications were in and awaiting review. My path, one that should have been fraught with difficulty and stress, was made infinitely easier by the support that I found here at SIUE. No panicked email went unanswered, advice was always available, and an alumni network I planned to join in about an hour and a half was at my disposal constantly. Compared to most, with SIUE at my back, my path was easy. Only at an institution like SIUE could a student receive all of these excellent opportunities and the education and advice necessary to tackle them fully. Now, the ability to choose our own paths and write our own story comes with a single string attached. It's that tiny binding string that tugs at our hearts and pulls us in the right direction. With all of the opportunities given to and earned by us on a daily basis, we share a mutual responsibility to put our offerings, experiences, and skills to good use for the betterment of everyone. Nursing graduates, my advice for you is simple. Get out there and do what you do. Care for those less fortunate. Bring ease and comfort to the uneasy and uncomfortable. And always do so knowing that the rest of us appreciate it. Business graduates, as you enter your widely varied fields, do so with this single piece of advice. Always strive to build, create, and grow. Do what you do, and find your profits ethically and for the good of everyone. Because win-win-wins in business are a real thing, and they are infinitely more rewarding than any gain that requires you to belittle or damage someone else. It is the conscious decision to do business this way that is going to heal our present economic situation. Education graduates, the advice I have for you is perhaps the most important, because you alone are tasked with ensuring the viability of our future. As you work in your various fields, from preschool shapes to high school math, always carry the knowledge with you that every word, lesson, and piece of advice that you provide has the ability to turn an awkward, confused kid into a confident individual. We all share the same responsibility moving forward. Do what's right. Take advantage of the opportunities presented to us. Turn down the ones that cause hurt, and pursue each and every day as though it makes all the difference. Because here's the secret to my entire speech. The reason I'm up here today is that every day does make the difference in our lives and the lives of those around us. Standing where we are right now, poised on the brink of disaster or the verge of greatness, this is normally the point in a commencement speech where a speaker would ask that the audience stand with him and work together to be successful, not just as individuals, but as a cohesive group of graduates, forged together by an educational institution and prepared to do what's necessary to better the world for everyone. Under normal circumstances, I would ask that here. But I know that right now, under these circumstances, in front of this group, I don't have to. So thank you very much and good luck, SIUE graduates of December 2012.
Wow. Thank you, Matthew, for your message and for your contributions to our university. Clearly, having you as a student was a win-win-win for us. I have some personal bias on this, but I believe that all the good things he said about SIU are true.